Jimmy, who do we have on our show today?
We have Alina Santana.
The one and only.
The one and only. I love it.
The one and only. You're a realtor.
I'm a realtor here in New Jersey.
Okay, great. Tell us who you're with.
I'm with Star One Realty in West New York.
Nice. How long have you been a realtor?
Going on 4 and change now.
4 and change. So that means you were doing something else before, like me.
Yes, I was in the health field. I worked for dentists my whole life, pretty much.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have beautiful teeth.
Thank you. These are mine, though.
A great smile.
Thank you.
Mind you, I was one about my teeth, so.
Look at my teeth.
Really? You're gonna go there with that? You're gonna go there with that?
I'll recommend you to the best dentist. Don't worry.
Yes. No. So okay. So you've been in the health field for a long time.
Yes.
With only dentistry, nothing else.
Only dentistry. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And so, what made you become a realtor?
When I got married, I basically wanted to be a hygienist. That didn't work out. So then, when I got divorced, I said I need something that I can hang out with my children some of the times, pick them up from school, basically have more flexibility with my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the transition was very hard for me, stop basically saying stop living from paycheck to paycheck and then just working for yourself is a whole big difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's kind of how you got into real estate.
Real estate, yes.
So did you have like a mentor?
In the beginning, no. My sister, she's a realtor in Florida.
Oh.
She's with Sotheby's. So she would help me out a little bit here and there, guide me. She's great at that. And she's been in the business over 15 years.
In Florida?
In Florida.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that where you're from?
Yes. Basically, came from Cuba, stayed in Miami for a week, then moved to Jersey. Was here 7 years and then went back to Florida.
That's an interesting story. I'm from Florida, and I know that the whole journey to come over in the 80s is, it was fraught back then. Tell me about that story.
My dad saw that there was no future for us there. Basically told my mom, we have to go. These girls, they deserve a better life. And we came in a huge sailboat here. Over 500 people, May 30th of 1980. And we crossed the sea. Really bad storms, but we made it alive, and here we are.
How old were you?
I was 6 and my sister was 4.
So you're the older sister.
I'm the oldest. And then my little sister was born here, Jennifer.
It's funny, right? When we were talking about it, you said the same thing when we were talking about our famous movie that everybody loves to see with Tony Montana, Scarface, right?
Scarface, yes.
The same exact imagery that was going on through the movie was what you were actually going through during that time.
My father basically was like Tony in the movie. He was basically saying, I didn't come here to be a sheep. I have rights.
Nice.
And you got to treat me like a person with rights.
And he came here, and he, just like, because we're all from immigrant backgrounds, right? And so they busted their ass. Mm-hmm. Pardon the expression, but tell us about what your dad did when he got here.
So in 7 years, my father basically didn't know the language. He loved poetry. He loved reading. So we knew a little bit of English in Cuba. Like he taught us to say eyes, nose, ears,
teeth, the basic things, right?
Eyebrows.
Teeth, yeah. That led you to
hair.
down the road of dentistry.
So basically, I felt like I knew English, but I didn't. So he started working in a company here, all-American company in Sea Caucus, actually. And right away, he was a great machinist because he was an engineer in Cuba. And got the job, started working, put my mom through English school, beautician school, opened up a salon, bought us a house with a pool in Florida, the first American dream home. And that's why to today, it's been 4 years he's gone, but he's my hero.
It's amazing.
My hero.
So your dad is your hero.
My dad's my hero.
Because he came here and he put everything was on his back with his wife and his 2 children.
Yep.
Then the third.
And the third came, when I was 14, almost 15.
Oh wow, he had a sunset baby.
Yeah.
So you're 14 years older than your youngest sister?
And we get along great, yeah.
So my sister is 15 years younger than me. And my parents came here, I was born here, but they came here in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And they had no money. And my dad, he spoke a little bit of English. My mom did not speak any English, so she learned everything here. And they built a life for themselves down in Florida, just like your parents. Yeah, so
it's amazing.
The whole immigrant stock it's a different, right? They're cut from a different cloth.
Yeah.
There's just a different thing about that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, no is not an option.
No.
Right?
Everything.
No is not an option. No excuses because of the fact that you're doing whatever you can because you know it's better than the other situation.
Right.
And to go back to what Dad did, in 7 years, put your mom through what she needed to make her feel happy, and him, and then the kids, and then buying a house. And then understanding, like, look, I don't know as much, but I'm going to know enough to make sure my family is okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that within itself is amazing. And this is what people do every day.
Yeah.
So when you hear some say, I'm not going to do this or I can't do this, you're like,
seems impossible. Seems impossible. And I feel like there's nothing that seems impossible. If you can get across the ocean in 2 days and not
exactly and not die, right?
And not die.
With the
I'm pretty sure none of this is
That's why whenever anybody tries to scare me or instill fear, because a lot of people still do that with whatever situation you're in. I'm like, I don't think you understand.
No.
Like
who you're dealing with.
I've been dealt with worse.
Yeah.
I will be okay. I promise you. So that's the good thing about, and you again talk empowering the whole home ownership, real estate. That's your why. Mm-hmm. And if someone's working with you, you know that they're always going to get 1,000,000% of your value because of what you went through and what your family went through to get to it.
I'm a person that it's either all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you I'm going to give you my word, I don't care if I'm dying. I'm going to be there.
Wait a minute. Let me just cut in here for a minute and just ask you one thing. Do you remember the interest rate that your dad had when he bought that house?
Oh my God!
Back then it was crazy.
In 1987, it was
crazy.
right before.
It was.
In 88 was when that happened, right?
Well, 79 was when they had the whole gas thing and all that other stuff, right?
In the 80s, I know
in the 80s,
12.
Right, that was during Reagan,
Yes.
Reagan years. So it's probably around 11, 12, 13% around that time.
Yeah. I remember I bought my condo in Jersey City almost 20 years ago. And I was looking at the papers, and the person who was selling it to us had bought the condo in the 80s. And I believe, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, that the interest rate on the paper was like 9%. And I remember being like, wow. It's like, I got a little dizzy.
So when people see 5%, the world's coming to an It's not coming to an end.
You're going to be
already,
people are still buying houses.
It makes sense. And you just have to find what you're looking for and put some, thought behind it and understand what your monthly payment is going to look like.
Not to go off on a tangent about farming, but this is a point of discussion that I think the American farmer has about eggs. So everyone's like, you go into the store and you're like, I want to buy a dozen eggs for 99 cents when they're on sale, or $2 or $3. You go to the farmer's market and they're almost like, they're 50 cents an egg or, like that. So they're $6 a dozen, 7, 8, something like that, because it's a small farm. It's not factory farming.
Right.
And it's a real farm. That's the price of a real egg.
Yeah.
For them to raise the chicken and have the egg and have the staff drive it to the farmer's market.
It's organic.
It is not 99 cents an egg. Like, it's just not, it's unreal. So that's kind of what you were saying. Is that's the real, that should be the real price.
That should be the real price.
Right.
The real interest
of
rate,
lots of things.
Right.
Farming, houses, interest rate.
Interest rate, right.
Exactly. So,
but anyway, so that's a really long. So you went from Cuba you hopped into Florida, hopped over to New Jersey, and went back to Florida, right?
And then back to Jersey.
And then now you're a realtor, and you were a dentist and you were in the dental field for a long time.
So long, yes.
Do you think do you have kids?
I have 2 kids. I have a son, Leo, 12, and my daughter, Kiara, she's just turned 16.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, and what does she want to do with her life? Does she know yet that she'll be in the dental field?
I don't think so. She's still trying to figure it out. She does love art. She loves drawing, painting, music. Now she tells me she wants to be an actress.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So let's see where that goes.
Yeah. That's nice. Okay, well, I mean, hey, listen, there's you can come here, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever
there's
you
nothing.
Want. I tell her, you can do whatever you want here.
That's awesome. What about real estate? Is she thinking about that?
Well, I did tell her that there's one
right?
rule.
Get them exactly.
I did tell her there's one rule. At 18, you're getting your license. At 18 or 20, whichever age it is, you're getting your license.
You can do it at 18.
Yeah.
So I was at a realtor's office recently, giving a talk on flood insurance, and one of the realtors looked so young to me, and after I was done talking, I was like, "How old are you?" I didn't want to be rude. I kind of whispered. I was like, "How old are you?" She was like, "I'm 18. I just graduated high school," and I was like, "Where was I when I was 18?
I know.
What was I doing? I should have gotten a license." I mean, those are the go-getters, and just like you know what I mean? Like you wake up and you have to do these things.
Yeah. I just feel like even when I was going to take my test, I was working full time, studying part time with the kids, and I'm like, I have to pass this test. And then my kids would come home and they were like, "Mommy, did you pass?" "No, I didn't pass this time, but next time." They were like, "Oh, okay." So like the third time, it took me quite a few times.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to say. Hooray, or what happened?
Congrats.
Yeah. So that time I was like, I did it. And that last day that I went into that school, the lady says to me, I was the last one to leave. She's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just taking my time."
You're taking it all in, I guess. She was taking it all in, right?
So she's like, "Do you have kids?" And I said, "Yes, I have 2 kids." And I told her, I've tried a few times. She goes, "Well, this is the best present you're going to give your kids because you didn't give up."
Oh,
all right.
That is really sweet.
Yeah, so
that seems like a theme with you.
Yeah.
Like nobody gives up in your life. Your father didn't give up. Nobody on that boat gave up.
No.
I don't care. Time is going to pass you by anyways. He would tell me, it doesn't matter because time is going to pass you by anyway. You might as well keep doing what you want to do.
Right.
I like that.
Your dad's
not my hero, too.
It's the truth because sometimes, in the business that we're in all the time, right? We're always trying to make sure we expedite what our clients are looking for. But unfortunately, sometimes it does not work out.
No.
And you have to be the bearer of the bad news. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand, wow, if I get into this space, I can't continue the lifestyle that I love and the relationships I want to continue to build. Mm-hmm. So you just have to snap out of it and just pick it back up again and just say, you know what? Today's a better day. Today's a new day. Someone is going to get the best of me and let's make it happen.
And think outside the box, basically. Like now I'm driving an hour and a half to help a client find his dream home. Because he just can't buy around here.
Right.
He has a budget and, and every weekend I'm taking him an hour and 20 minutes.
Phillipsburg.
Fill up the whole day. And,
it's what it
I'll
is.
find him. I said, I'll find you a home.
Right.
Just,
be
patient.
stick with me.
Stick with me. Patience is a virtue. And without patience, you really can't do anything in life.
Yeah, you gotta just put your blinders on, put your head down, and start working.
Patience is key to many things.
So what do you do besides real estate? What do you like to do in your free time? You look really great shape.
I wish I had more time to do the things I really love. So this year I said that I would try to go skydiving.
Oh my goodness.
I love exercise. I think that whoever I'm with needs to understand that they're not going to be number one in my life because besides God, my other number one is your health. Because if you don't have your health, you can't take care of anybody or yourself.
So note to the viewers at this point, Alina is single because she did say whoever's in her life. I did notice
Oh, you putting her out there in the space.
I noticed that. I heard whoever's in my life, and I was like, check.
Oh my God.
Exercise, right? So tell me about that. Are you like an avid weightlifter?
I started young. I joined everything I could when I moved to Florida just because I didn't have any friends or anything. I started running because I didn't have a car because in Florida you need to drive everywhere.
Yes.
I wasn't aged up to drive. And I joined soccer, aerobics, cross country, you name it.
So all your
I also worked at 15.
Wow. So all your attributes
Yes.
as a result to who you are today.
What were you doing at 15?
My first job was at Extra Supermarket. I
Oh.
was getting paid about $10 an hour.
Back
In 1987.
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty
good.
good, yeah.
That's great.
So it's good because back when I was working for my parents, I was making
Like
like
$4.
nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I thought that was very good as well. Yeah, so I would, have my, I guess, track meets or whatever it is, a soccer practice, and then go to work and come back and do my homework, and every day was like that.
So in other words, you have a background in sports and just being fit and always being active.
I felt like that was a way for me to decompress. And fitness. And
you love fitness.
And I remember that in my first year of high school, I went to Southwest Senior High. My aerobics teacher was in her 70s. And when I first met her, I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to look like.
Aww.
She was in amazing shape. Besides another friend of mine, which her name is Susie Rodriguez, that she just had abs just because, like, she ate everything well. She just had abs. She had the other perfect body, and I'm sure she knows when she sees this, she's gonna know why.
I have a friend in Florida. Her name is Dawn. She's she grew up. I kind of grew up with her in a way because she worked in the restaurant when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. So I've known her for years. She's a realtor in Florida, and she has an Italian. You know, she's got Italian blood. And she's always had abs, and I was always like, how come you have those abs? I don't understand. And she was like, I don't know. I don't even try for them. She always had like really cut
genetically gifted.
They probably using that Susie Summers flex thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Abro. Remember the Abro? The Abro. 1999. You like this.
I mean, Susie
with the leg warmers.
And then a thigh master.
You give like, Susie Summers is like, and I'm like, boom, hey.
So when I couldn't work out, I used to do the gelad. You remember gelad with like. You probably don't remember. He had like it was in Hawaii, right in front of the ocean with the pretty Hawaiian girls with the cute outfits. And
like
they would do the aerobics. Yeah, if you look him up, you're going to see who he is.
Wow. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And
so so you don't do that now. What do you do now?
No, that's because I was home and I was 15. I didn't, I didn't have a gym. And back then, girls in the gyms, it was like, what's that?
Right.
So I started weight training when I was like 18, 19.
Weight training at 18 or 19?
In the gym, like free weights.
And tell us where that took you. What path did you? Because I know that you're not you follow a path and you go all the way down. So what did you do with that?
I guess when I was 30, I always wanted to do like a fitness show. And then when I was 38, I decided, I met this girl at Tilton Fitness in Edgewater where she was training, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next level, and I'm going to do a show. And it took me just 2 months to get ready because I was already in shape. Right. Yeah. And
2 months is unheard of because most of the you have to. It could be like.
It's a whole conditioning thing, right? Getting your body, your muscles, and everything.
Crazy.
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah. So then I did quite a few NPC shows, which was. Bikini Fitness, and I placed in every show. And
how long were you doing that for?
I did it for about 3 years.
So you did NPC shows for 3 years?
Yeah. Yes, and that was tough, but it's very good discipline. So I'm all about discipline. Mm-hmm. I think discipline is what gets you through everything. If you don't have the discipline, you're never going to finish anything.
Yeah.
It just.
I love that Alina has. Some rules to live by that she's already been dropping to me. Have you noticed? Patience is everything.
Right.
Gotta have discipline.
Gotta.
Right? I mean, you've been dropping these little nuggets throughout this entire conversation. I love it.
Yeah. And fitness is fitness is important, right?
She's single.
She's gonna blow up the social media is about to be like, oh, who it is? Who's going on? Alina.
I mean, I don't know if you are or not, but I mean, I did catch that. I caught that you said whoever I'm with.
And then Paula echoes it 4 or 5 times and says that you did say whatever. Yeah.
Are you dating somebody?
I'm dating somebody, yes, but yes.
Okay. I mean, so does he like fitness?
Yes, he does.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, because that's important. And is he patient?
What guy is patient?
That's true.
I don't know.
That's so wrong right now. I'm very patient.
He's triggered. Jimmy is triggered.
I have daughters. I have to be patient.
Well, you're a parent.
Yeah.
And being a parent teaches you that you have to be patient.
And that's why I go to CrossFit 908 like you. I go in the morning. That's my out because that's like the come to that moment. I did it there. Party there. I felt good. I got it in and so on and so forth. And
I think you always need that.
You just need that.
It's your you time.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, no one's going to bother you.
No.
This came up
for females is a little bit different. Even with your headphones, they still come and talk to you. I'm like.
Can't you see I'm working out?
Can't you see I'm busy?
Yeah.
Well, when you're doing squats and everybody's looking at certain things, it's kind of like
but you gotta be classy about it, not stand there. Right? I'm sure you get that.
So with me, it probably takes a very a very confident guy to come and talk to me because I don't entertain that at the gym most of the time. I'm like go.
You're very focused. You know what you want. You know what you're coming in.
That was the rule that you had dropped a second ago. You have to have discipline, and then you're in there because you're being disciplined.
Yeah.
So now, do you eat?
Yes, I eat.
Where do you eat?
I love
because you're Cuban. I want to ask you where your favorite Cuban restaurants are.
But personally, I love Cuban food because it's my background.
Right.
I love La Isla in Hoboken, which is where I spent a lot of my years.
La Isla and Hoboken.
Yeah, and they're amazing. Their brunches, their steaks. Everything.
Where is it exactly in Hoboken?
There's 2 locations, downtown and uptown.
Okay.
The uptown location is on 14th Street, up by the Maxwell Building,
Mm-hmm.
and downtown is on Washington and First.
What do you order there?
For breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner.
Ah, you got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, give me all 3. What's good about breakfast at La Isla?
Well, since I'm a health freak, I used to have them make me like an egg white omelet with like their oatmeal is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oatmeal.
I gotta have it
But
now.
they have everything. They have
Mhm.
waffles for brunch, pancakes. They have everything. It's amazing. Lunch, you can have salads, chicken, ropa vieja, rice beans, moro, sweet plantains,
Nice.
everything.
What about dinner? Dinner at La Isla?
Dinner, I used to like to get the breaded steak, which is bistec empanizado
Mm-hmm.
with
Beefsteak,
moro,
nice style.
yeah,
Okay.
and tostones.
Tostones.
You know
I
what
love.
tostones
Yeah.
are?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know what tostones are? I love
Those are
tostones.
amazing.
There was a Cuban restaurant across from I grew up in a restaurant. You've heard
Right.
this
Yeah.
story, Jimmy.
Yeah.
So it was on Federal Highway in Florida,
Mhm.
and across the street was a Cuban restaurant. And every once in a while, before dinner service, because I grew up in a Chinese restaurant, so there's only so much Chinese food you can be eating every
Right.
single day,
Yes.
every single meal. Gets a little tiring.
Right.
So sometimes you'd be able to go and get some Cuban food and eat it in the back before dinner service, just because you
Just-
want something a little bit different
Different,
every
right.
once in a while. It could have
Right.
been anything across the street, but I did try that Cuban restaurant, and it was delicious, and I have very
Yeah.
fond memories of the tostones.
It's just growing up here in the States. After a while, you sort of just want to go with the flow here. I feel like my dad used to tell me, when you come to a different country, you also have to accustom yourself to eating what everybody else eats, and
Right.
learn all different foods and all that. So I love seafood.
Mm-hmm.
So do I.
Normally, I love seafood. Steak I can have once in a while, but I love seafood.
Nice.
What's your favorite seafood?
I love sushi. I love shrimp. I love all kinds of seafood.
I like salmon.
Ceviche, salmon.
Okay, yeah.
Ceviche.
Ceviche is nice. Ceviche is very good.
Swordfish is amazing. If you ever
Fresh
had it.
halibut.
Well, and when growing up, I used to have catfish with onions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with yuca, catfish, and onions.
Yuca, catfish.
Yuca, catfish.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that like a Haitian? That's
yeah,
a Haitian dish. Yeah.
Haitian, what would be plantains, yuca, catfish, and onions,
Oh my
and it
God.
just be
Yuca.
so. It's so.
Yuca and plantains together.
Yup.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
we were hungry.
Yeah.
No,
and
I
it was
wasn't
it
sure
wasn't
if it was supposed to be like
two
one or the
starches
other.
right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
No,
But
today is very
But back in
we're
the
watching
days,
our
we
starch.
weren't-
Back
we
in the
weren't-
days, that's all we had. It was like, and it wouldn't cost that much.
Yeah.
Right? You get yuca, you boil it. You get plantain, you boil it. Catfish, you just saute it. You put some little bit
Sounds
of oil,
delicious.
throw some
I
onions
love
on
yuca.
it, and and that's like one of my favorite things. I mean, today they dress it up, they fry it,
Yeah.
they cut it up nice, and they put some little elegance to it, and then they serve it to you and charge you X amount of dollars for it.
Yeah.
When we grew up, it was like these things were like 3 for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would just buy it and just eat, and that's all we had, and we worked off of that. So
That's really interesting what you're saying about like growing up in the food that's so different. Can I tell you that I did not know what a beet was until I was a full adult?
wow.
Yeah, because in Florida, right? It's not like I was living next to a Publix. You go in there, you buy whatever's in the Publix.
Right,
Publix,
right.
yes.
Beets were not. I don't remember seeing a beet or knowing what it was. I remember the canned beets, and I'd be like, "That's an interesting thing."
No, I
That's
remember.
red. That's a
Yeah.
can. What does it
I
look
definitely
like in a
remember
can?
beets. I definitely.
But
remember.
I never had them. Like, and I didn't know what they were. It's not a Chinese thing, so beets.
Right.
But I knew what snow peas
Yes.
were because
Exactly.
So it's an interesting thing how we grew up, and there's like the things that we eat
Yeah,
at the
and
dinner
then
table.
and my parents, they didn't have much time because she was studying at night. My dad was working through the day, but my dad had 3 jobs.
Jeez.
So he had a job during the day, then he'd go to the gas station in the evening, come back, go to his other job, and then in the weekend he had a 3rd job. So
Wow.
we would get cantina. You know what cantina is?
No.
It looks like those containers, and then you would order it for the week for dinner. So it's like a menu. You fill out what you want for the week, and then you go and pick it up.
Where?
And it was in the Cuban restaurants on Bergen Line.
So so there's like a Japanese thing that's the same thing they
Right.
call it. And there's an Indian, the same thing. I don't know what it's called, but there's an Indian practice that does that. You can call the moms in the
Yeah.
apartment, and
Right.
they'll make you
Yeah, each container was
your
rice,
tiffin, right? Is that what it's
chicken,
called?
or whatever.
think so. Don't go.
Tiffin.
Yeah, it's to that
It's
effect.
4. You say
Right.
how many people, 2 to 4,
Right.
and give you a section of rice, plantains, your meat, and whatever else, beans or whatever else
It's
you
a
want.
family meal.
Yeah.
Before the all the rest.
And it was like in a stainless steel container. It was really
Right.
cool.
bring
It was a small container with the container, and you carry it all day.
Yeah,
It
and you bring it back the next day, and then it goes for a week.
Where do you remember? Where did you get that? Do you remember? Is it
Yes,
still around?
I think this restaurant is still around. It's one of the oldest restaurants on Burger Line. It's on 30-something Street.
I still remember it because it had the silver thing with the two little knobs at the end.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, and then you put the food on
And
top.
you can still do that now?
Well, you can. Well,
I'm not sure if
you're
they
not sure
still
if you do that
now.
We're going to
Right.
have to look up this restaurant.
Like
We'll put
on-
it up on the screen so that people
Yes.
know where it is.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Yeah.
one. So where else? One more restaurant.
One more restaurant that I like to go eat.
Cuban food.
Oh, Cuban food here. Son Cubano.
San Cubano.
Their food is amazing, pretty amazing too. And you have a beautiful view there.
Nice.
Nice.
I like San Cubano. And what do you get there? It's a real scene.
Yes.
Party scene.
It depends. Depends on
The night.
or
Right.
if I go for brunch or lunch.
Yeah.
You know, I usually try to stick to the healthier meals like the fish or ceviche is amazing. The steak is amazing, which I had last time that I went with a girlfriend of mine. It was
Nice.
really good.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I love that. All right. So where can people find you? What's your Instagram or where do people find Alina?
If you Google me, but
If you Google her.
my
fitness.
Don't believe everything you read.
No, fitness,
But-
luxury,
my-
real estate.
my daughter said, "Mom, you know that I Googled you one time and your fitness picture came up. You're famous." I'm like, my fitness picture? I had no idea because people don't usually Google themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure it's changed now because as you start adding,
Things.
or you start adding
Gets
things,
right.
LinkedIn, yeah. So my Instagram is Alina Santana Realty. I also have a YouTube account.
What's on
What's in it?
YouTube?
What's in? Yeah.
You guys are gonna have to go on that.
Nice, nice.
I'm gonna share you guys on my YouTube. If
Yeah,
that's okay.
and this is definitely gonna be shared on
Yeah.
your YouTube.
Yeah,
content,
because
right?
Jimmy has a
I have a
YouTube channel.
YouTube
channel.
Jimmy on
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Alina Santana.
Okay.
Real estate.
I love that.
We're gonna
So
make it
we're gonna
happen.
have to Google
Yeah.
some of those beautiful NPC pictures.
Oh yes.
So
I'll give
NPC
you
and
some.
real estate at the same
Yeah.
time. I mean, that's a
I
it's a good thing.
yes,
Fitness and realty.
Yeah.
Fitness and real estate.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
that's amazing. I love
And
that.
and I also have a LinkedIn. I have a TikTok.
You have a TikTok. Do
Alina
you do?
Santana Realty.
do you do dancing?
I have some TikToks on there.
I
Oh,
love
check
it.
it.
I gotta check it out.
my kids, they all make fun of me. I'm like, I don't care. There's people in my age doing TikToks too. So
Look, it's not that big of a deal as long as you get
They're
the
just-
information you want out there for others to know who you
Shoot,
are.
I'd
You
watch
might as well
your
rock out
TikTok.
too. I
wanna
mean,
watch
it's what
your
it is.
TikTok.
Yeah,
I have
it's
fun on
definitely
TikTok.
definitely.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
So when people are looking for you, just type in Alina Santana, and that's it, right?
Alina Santana.
That's it.
We can't say Santana because that's not the right way to say it. Alina says Santana.
Alina Santana.
What did I say?
I know,
Santana?
I'm saying it. No, I'm
you're
saying
saying
to
this.
the-
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm saying it to the
Okay.
viewers.
I
You
was.
have to say
I
Santana.
just want to make sure I was correct.
No, you're correct.
Okay, say 3
But
times.
I love it because Santana.
Yes.
Santana.
Santana.
But yeah, so that's great. I'm so excited to have met you.
I'm
Yeah,
so
likewise.
excited.
Conversation.
I was actually very honored to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
And
coming.
thank you for meeting you.
Oh my God, I'm like
We're
so.
gonna be besties now.
We're gonna
Yeah.
be besties.
We're gonna hang out.
We're gonna do events together.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking
We're
about.
gonna, let's bring in the money.
Yeah. Let's talk about
That's
it.
another one. That's the third one, by
Yeah,
the way, guys.
yeah.
Before we sign off, it's you gotta have patience, discipline is everything, and let's bring in the money. That's
Yep.
what I learned today from
Yep.
Alina Santana.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.